Today, we are getting to exposing more of the Israeli genocidal state, of course, what's new. And people who are fed up with this genocide are actually taking matters into their own hands. Sweeney and American Eagle are accused of promoting white supremacy and racial superiority, and what other retailers have to say about it. And then the astronomer CEO that was caught on the Coldplay camera still has something to say, guys. He's not letting this die down. Welcome back to the Israel Show.
I've been out of my mind a long time. I've been out of my mind a long time. Chicago, North Side.
So on Friday, Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff entered Gaza amid the Gaza Humanitarian Fund controversy. So he's escorted by the Israeli military, which, guys, this was obviously such a PR stunt. This aid distribution process has been marked by chaos, lots of looting, and of course, guys, we can't forget the deadly shootings by the Israeli military. And the US knows this. Everybody knows this. We see the videos, but they have to put on face and they have to act like they care about improving the operations and getting down to the bottom of it. And let's just recap. The death toll is now at 1,400 Palestinians that have died since the beginning of May, since the inception of this Gaza Humanitarian Fund. You know, the second Witkoff left what he was doing, left the site, Israeli military went on and carried on doing what they have always been doing at the site, which is shooting at the Palestinians. So the second he was done surveying the site, overlooking what they've been doing with the aid, they started immediately shooting at the Palestinian people, just back to regular programming, right? And I'm sure Steve Witkoff, he wasn't too far off. He still heard the gunshots, but they're just gonna act like, you know, nothing's going wrong. You know, everything's okay. Israel's the most moral army in the world, and we should trust and believe them when they say they're investigating into these instances. So after he visited this aid, Witkoff went and he visited the hostages' families. Of course, you know, what is an Israel trip by the US if you don't go and give your condolences to the hostage families and let them know, you know, we're doing everything we can to make sure we get back the hostages when they've had multiple chances to do that. Not to mention, Steve Witkoff himself ran away from discussions just a few weeks prior, saying Hamas was just so unbelievable to work with. They were being so unreasonable, and they did not want peace. Like they're the ones projecting this war. When you hear these words coming out from anyone, like US, Israel, any supporter of this genocide, this is what you guys have to do from now on, is you have to switch the narrative, switch whatever lies are telling us and make it where it's actually Hamas, right? It's actually the Palestinian people that want peace. They actually want to give back the hostages. But Israel is the one that wants to continue this war. Israel is the one that doesn't want peace. And Israel is the one that's being so unreasonable, so unfair, and not willing to compromise. So that's what we're going to do now, guys. Once we switch the narrative and we put it on whatever they're saying about Hamas on Israel, that's when we're getting the truth. So among the many deaths that happened at this aid site, I want to bring attention to the story of Amir. He's this young, beautiful 12-year-old boy, and it's just so sad. I mean, we know they're killing children at these sites, as I mentioned in my last episode, but this is coming from a US soldier. Okay? These US soldiers and security guards who are posted at the site, working alongside the Israeli military, following their orders, they kind of ended up a little bit surprised. They did not know how evil the military can be. And we had one US soldier who actually went on the news recounting his experience since he's left. And he talks about the story of young Amir. And it's just so heartbreaking. And I want to cut it to the video where he talks about what happened to him.
From where he came from, walked 12 kilometers to get there, just to get there. 12 kilometers. Look at this boy. And when he got there, he thanked us for the remnants and the small crumbs that he got. And he sets them down on the ground, because I was kneeling at this point, and he sets his food down, and he places his hands on my face, on the side of my face, on my cheeks, these frail, skeleton, emaciated hands, dirty. And he puts them on my face, and he kissed me. He kissed me and he said, "Thank you," in English. "Thank you." And he collected his items and he walked back to the group, and then he was shot at with pepper spray and tear gas and stun grenades and bullets shot at his feet and in the air, and he runs away scared. And the IDF were shooting at the crowd, shooting into this crowd, and Palestinians, civilians, human beings, are dropping to the ground, getting shot. And Amir was one of them. Amir walked 12 kilometers to get food, got nothing but scraps, thanked us for it, and died.
All right, so at the same time, actually, that Saturday, August 2nd, Hamas dropped, this is during Steve Witkoff's visit, Hamas dropped a video of 2 of their hostages showing how weak and brittle their bodies are. So they're looking exactly like how the Palestinians, like what they're going through right now. Like they're literally bones, and you can see they just like haven't eaten in days. And that's exactly what Eviatar David, who's 24 years old, says in the video. He says he hasn't eaten in days. He has one can that he has to make last for at least 2 days. And he actually goes on to, point fingers at Netanyahu and say, he's the reason why we're still here. Obviously in same Israeli Netanyahu fashion, he responded by saying this video is reminiscent of Nazi cruelty and affirmed the state's resolve to secure a military victory to free hostages. Guys, you just have to understand another thing I want to point out to you. Every single time Israel talks, most of it is lies, but when they start accusing the other side of certain things, every accusation becomes a confession. So if he's accusing Hamas of Nazi cruelty, well, that's a confession from their end as well, because it takes one to really see how cruel and inhumane it is. And I feel for the hostages. No one deserves to go through starvation, forced starvation. And with those videos being out, they still didn't open the borders and let the aid in. Like, it's just crazy to me. It's crazy that the most simple solution to this is to open the borders and let all the humanitarian agencies in to feed these people and get some aid to your hostages if you really, really still want to get them back alive. It just seems like the government does not care because they've had multiple chances to get them back, and every single time they just refuse because they're so bloodthirsty with this war. They feel like they're on the cusp of achieving like their theological dreams, like their prophecy. They feel like this is the cusp where we need to complete the vision for Israel. We need to get all the Palestinians out, and this is the way to do it. We got to continue the war. At the same time, we finally have countries like Jordan, UAE, and Spain. They started airdropping aid into Gaza ever since the controversy of, all the starving Palestinian children that we were seeing on the face of the New York Times and, BBC. Like, these are Israeli-backed media conglomerates that have always been so supportive of Israel, but now it's gotten to the point where they have to report exactly how it is, which is it's a forced starvation. They're going through a famine. Okay. So they started these airdrops, and these airdrops with aid is the biggest BS ever. It's not actual aid. It's not aiding them. It's not helping the Palestinians at all, because what happens most of the time is some of these aid packages don't even land in the right spot where Palestinians can reach it. A lot of them end up in the ocean where the goods end up becoming completely unusable, right? And not to mention that people have actually died by being hit from these packages. Children and even adults they're trying their best to get their hands on this aid because it's life-saving for them and their families, and they end up dying because they get crushed by it. So this is just not the way to distribute aid to the Palestinians. It's humiliating. It's the worst way you can give it to them. What you need to understand is that the Palestinians don't need food dropped down to them. Okay, that aid doesn't even feed a fourth of the population of Gaza. It's not reaching all of them. There's still people going hungry and at this point weeks without eating a single parcel of food. What people don't realize is that right now, the human body of the Palestinians, they're in the stage 5 famine phase. So when you're in stage 5 famine, there's something called the refeeding syndrome, when the body is so starved from electrolytes and fluids. Everything is just so imbalanced in their bodies that if they don't eat food with care, they can actually end up dying from the shock of finally consuming food. And this is very reminiscent of exactly what the Nazis did to the Jews. If you guys remember, there are so many famous photographs. Once they finally defeated the Germans, American soldiers made their way through into the Nazi camps, and they liberated the Jews and said, hey, we're here to free you. And with them, they brought a bunch of food. And these kids and Jews were starving in these camps. And what ended up happening is, as soon as they distributed the food to them, because they've been starving for so long, the second some of them ate just a small bowl of rice, they dropped dead to the ground just from their body being in shock, because you need to take care when you are finally able to consume food when you're in this stage of famine. So I'll say it again, what the people of Gaza actually need is for the borders to open up and let the real humanitarian agencies, the one who actually care and they have the will to help the Palestinians, they don't have an agenda, they're neutral parties, the UN, UNRWA, the World Food Program, World Central Kitchen, let these agencies in and let them do their job the way that they're doing it before the blockade in May. They were able to distribute and get to not just south of Gaza, central and north as well. Because right now with all the aid drops, north and south are getting the aid, but central is getting completely forgotten. These people are still in dire need of getting any kind of food, and they're not reaching any of it. I'm fully convinced that the architects of this genocide, they know what they're doing. They understand what their bodies are going through right now. And this is why they're still continuing to allow countries to drop aid in hopes of helping them and feeding them. But it's the wrong way to go about it. I don't know why there hasn't been more pressure for them to just open the damn borders. So amongst the bad news, guys, we're going to talk about some good news. And the good news is that Portugal, Spain, Canada and UK are all part of the Western powers that have pledged to recognize Palestine as a state in the upcoming September UN meeting. And this is a big deal because France was actually the first one to do it. I mean, it's interesting. UK is actually the only one that came with the condition. Their condition is unless Israel opens the borders and ends the starvation, then they won't recognize Palestine as a state, which I think is so stupid. I mean, if you're going to do something, just do it. It's like they're still trying to keep good relations with Israel, but it's like you cannot keep good relations with someone that's enacting these crimes against humanity, these blatant war crimes. But it's interesting. I mean, of course, Israeli officials, hostage families, the same thing. They're saying that this is rewarding Hamas and arguing it encourages terrorism and deprives Israel of leverage and efforts to secure the captives' release. And I just want to say, guys, it's not about Hamas. It's about the people. It's about the children that are starving. It is absolutely deranged to see people being okay with the continuation of murdering and starving children. And to justify continuing to drop bombs on them. I mean, so now that a few European countries finally say they're going to recognize Palestine as a state, you would think, okay, that's a small step towards peace and ending this terrible genocide. But it's the fact that they're acknowledging that we're going to give them the right to exist. We're going to acknowledge that they are people that deserve to have rights, and that just does not go with their narrative at all. I mean, this is going to lead to probably a two-state solution, which of course they don't want. They are an ethno-supremacist state. They're racist. They don't want the Palestinians there at all. So yeah, it just makes sense. I mean, like their opposition to it is not surprising, but I just want to keep bringing light to how these guys, they keep saying they want peace. We're the most, democratic country in the Middle East, but they are the most unreasonable people. And you can't reason with someone that's willing to cross the line and commit so many crimes against humanity. I mean, this just means they're willing to do anything. They're willing to kill anyone, including the people that they call their allies. I mean, they've done multiple crazy, unfriendly things to the U.S. I mean, two of the biggest things is being part of the JFK assassination. I mean, being able to assassinate a sitting president, that's not very ally-like of them. And then also being a part of 9/11, creating a false flag event so that they had an excuse for U.S. to fight their war in Iraq. That's a whole nother topic for another day. But yeah, they're not very ally-like to us anymore. I mean, they're more like our enemies and we're treating them like our frenemy. And we just need to completely cut ties with Israel because they don't have anyone's best interest except theirs. In other great news, vandalism is getting the best of everyone that's continuing to project this genocide, and it's making me very happy. The first vandalism that I want to go over is actually the New York Times headquarters in New York, where you can see here, I'm going to post a photo. People completely painted the front of it in red, obviously signifying bloodshed, and they wrote, "New York Times lies, Gaza dies." And I think this is actually so heroic. It's so symbolic because, you know, us pro-Palestinian people, we are very peaceful and we go to our protests and we like to make it known. We roll out in huge numbers to show people, you know, this is who we are. This is what we think. And this is why you guys need to stop. But I think the time for peacefulness is kind of past. I mean, it's been almost 2 years now and we haven't seen any like new crazy developments and stopping the killing. I mean, at the same time that Steve Witkoff was there, they were still bombing people in north and south of Gaza. We had 30 people died, 80 people injured. And again, they're running into these hospitals that have no supplies or little to no supplies left. I mean, this is genocide in broad daylight and people are sick of it. And now we're taking it to like another extreme. And I am for this vandalizing. I think this is like making a point, and anyone passing by, they see, yeah, New York Times does lie. So this is actually because, following, New York Times finally featured a starving Palestinian boy talking about the starvation in Palestine. He's an 18-month-old Palestinian child named Muhammad Zakaria al-Mutawak. So he was featured in this viral photo, and they referred to him as being born healthy, but suffered from severe malnutrition because of the famine and forced starvation in Gaza. So then after posting this article and this photo, they actually redacted what they said about him and said, actually, you know, part of the reason why he's so skinny and frail and you could see his bones is not because of the starvation, like the man-made starvation by Israel, but actually because he had pre-existing health conditions, which I think is just so scummy. I mean, even that being true, it's still such a twisted mentality for you to say like, hey, it's not that bad because he actually had conditions beforehand that led him to this, instead of just acknowledging that it's evil. Whether you had pre-existing medical conditions or not, it's evil, it's wrong, and it needs to be stopped. And that's why people decided to take it into their own hands and let New York Times know they are straight up liars. If anything, it's worse to be able to, you know, paint the baby boy as that. In relation to that, we also had some protesters. They really got together in the community and decided to protest in front of John Akri. So he is the Gaza Humanitarian Executive Director. Okay, so they found out where he lived and they're like, we're gonna protest against him. So again, they're being very peaceful but disruptive because they took their pots and pans and were banging on the pots and pans. This is a big protest that people in Gaza have actually started. Of people all around the world have just started banging empty pots like a certain time every single night to show, okay, these people are hungry, we need to feed them. And they actually brought like Gaza Humanitarian Aid boxes, sprayed it in red, splattered other things in red. They had like a cardboard cutout of his face, they sprayed with red. And yeah, I mean, they're really getting the point across is that, you know, the GHF kills people. It kills innocent people. And yeah, I mean, I'm here for it. I really like, you know, people when they get together and they decide to make these people feel uncomfortable. And that's exactly what they did. I mean, in the photos, you can see like his wife kind of came out and she started recording. And then I think she tried to make it seem like, it wasn't bothering her that much by ordering food straight to her doorstep while this was going on. But I believe this is something we need to continue, because we need to remind these people that they should be scared. They should be scared because there's more of us than there are of them. There's greater numbers in us, people that want to stand by and do the right thing and stand for justice, than there are of them, people who want to continue to do evil. And I think this is a good reminder to let them know, and anyone else that's involved in this, to let them know that, we're not going to stop until there's an actual real change that happens. In other news, Taylor Marjorie Greene, never thought I would agree with her, but she was actually the first Congress representative to use the word genocide to describe what's happening in Gaza. And it's interesting. I mean, she's a Republican, super conservative, but she's really against, how much aid that we send Israel. I mean, she was one of the first ones to introduce a bill to cut, just out of the billions that we send to Israel, she was trying to cut 500 million of that and say, hey, we should actually use that money and spend it at home. And only 6 Congress people voted on it, and everyone else voted to oust this bill out, so it didn't get anywhere. But this woman, I mean, I got to give her like some props. She's really trying, while others, are really like still continuing to dance around the word genocide. Like they will not even admit it. They won't even say it. And I think it's sad because everyone knows that that's what it is. But it's even more sad coming from the Democrats. Like, I don't know. I just feel like Democrats have always been like a people like a party for the people. And I mean, I believe this is one of the biggest reasons why Kamala lost, is because she failed to address this genocide. And if she did, she it would probably be a lot different right now in the U.S. But take a look at this clip of Crystal Ball opposing Democratic Senator Slotkin for her double standards and unwavering support for Israel. It's so crazy. Take a look.
What I would ask is, listen, I'm a YouTuber. I have my words. That's all I have. Yeah. But you're a United States Senator. Mm-hmm. Like you're not the president, but you have power. So what are you going to do? Because so far what we've seen, I mean, you voted for some of the aid that's been used to massacre children and innocents. You have backed Israel, as far as I can tell, from your voting record at almost every turn. You voted for a definition of anti-Semitism that would, codify anti-Zionism as anti-Semitism. You voted as a member of the House to sanction the ICC for indicting Benjamin Netanyahu, who you just admitted is a war criminal, by your own words. So are you going to join Senator Angus King, Senator Bernie Sanders in saying no more aid to this country that is committing war crimes against innocent civilians?
I think the first thing, if you're asking about what to do with power, and I would offer that right now Democrats own nothing in Washington. So
don't play powerless with me. Though. You're a United States Senator. There are things you can do. This is a nation that, we send every year billions of dollars to aid that you have, voted for and supported. Like, what responsibility does a United States Senator have to prevent genocide and to stop genocide that we see ongoing?
We have a responsibility up till today to ensure that food is getting in.
Is it a genocide?
People don't starve. I don't know that I'd use that term.
Why?
But it is violating the law of war.
Why don't you use the term though?
Because I think, it's, to me, do I think it's ethnic cleansing, which is what I think of in genocide? I don't know if it meets that definition.
They're announcing
but didn't you say it earlier that it was ethnic cleansing? You said that they wanted to force it. I mean, this is open from the Israeli government.
So moving on, I found this clip so funny. Hypocrites are just so funny to me. So ex-presidential candidate Kamala Harris went on to the Stephen Colbert show where she sadly admitted she will not be running for California governor. And she said her reason being is because the system is broken.
Want to improve a system or change it, that we're always on the outside on bended knee or trying to break down the door. Shouldn't we also be inside the system? And that has been my career. And recently I made the decision that for now, I don't want to go back in the system. I think it's broken.
So interesting for her to say that the system is broken. Coming from someone that's been a part of that system for decades, I mean, she's held power at every level. Prosecutor, senator, vice president, and now suddenly it's broken. Let's be honest, the system isn't broken for the people who are paid to maintain it. It's broken for the rest of us. It's broken for the people getting crushed by it while the top just keep cashing in. It's broken for us Americans who keep having our taxes increase, but our wages and salaries are not getting increased at the same time. It's broken for us Americans that are just getting robbed of any type of improvement in our prosperity in our life. I mean, our kids over here are getting sicker, and we're not getting, our roads are not getting better. Our education is getting less funded. But it's okay, because at the top, what they think is the most important thing is our foreign policy. So all that money keeps getting sent abroad instead of being spent here on the American people. And it sucks because it's literally, this country is built on the hard work of the Americans, lower, middle, and upper class. All of us built this country, and we're the ones that keep it going with the money that the government keeps taking, but they're not giving it to the people. They're not listening to us. They're just following wherever the money is. They're following the lobbyists that are, infiltrating DC. They're following, the foreign nations that keep whispering in their ear or blackmailing them. That's who they follow. They don't actually follow the people. And Kamala Harris was one of those people that actually followed wherever the money was. She was listening to her donors. And that could be, in my opinion, one of the reasons why, many reasons why, I mean, it's not the only reason why she wasn't able to win the presidential race, is because she failed to listen to her constituents. She failed to acknowledge certain groups of people because she thought, okay, because I'm Black, I got it in the bag. I got their vote in the bag. But that's not the case. She failed to look and listen to so many people and what we were trying to tell her. And in the end, it makes sense why you would say the system is broken, that have it the worst. We're the ones that are being taken advantage of, and it's not fair. I mean, I don't even believe in make America. I don't believe. And last time I think I talked about America great. Let's make America first. I don't even believe in that. I believe in America only at this point, because we haven't been about ourselves in so long. And I, as well as so many other people, are just so sick of it. We used to be such a great nation because we kept, pumping into research and science and the Industrial Revolution. And that's what really made us come up so quickly. But then we stopped doing those things. And now we're focusing most of our money on military funding. So how does increased funding in our military, more weapons, more tanks, more advanced technology, how does that help the average American? I think we're doing just fine with whatever budget we originally had, but to increase it by tenfold and then cutting everything else that affects us everyday Americans is just insanity to me. So yes, the system is broken, but not for people like you. Now I want to talk about the Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle ad. It has literally taken the internet by storm, and some people are saying it's not that deep. But yeah, I think it's very problematic, and they deserve to be in trouble because this campaign is... Okay, first, if you haven't seen it, let's take a look.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
After watching that ad, here's why that campaign completely failed. Okay, so first, they decided to play on the entendre of two words. They wanted to be all cutesy and punny by saying genes and jeans. We're gonna play on these two. And for that, they decided to use this voluptuous, actress that represents, kind of like a sex symbol. And its objective is to sell the jeans. And their target demographic is 15 to 25. So young teen to early mid-20 women, okay? So these women, if you look at what they care about body representation, they care about comfort, they care about cool, effortless styles, okay? So you got to keep that in mind. So for them to play on the words genes and genes, okay, genes as in like her genetics, saying, I mean, I thought this was very problematic, just this one sentence alone. Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, but my genes are blue. So that in itself is saying I have the superior type of racial features, which is white, blue eyes, and blonde hair. So many people were denying that this is a play on eugenics, but it 1000% is playing on the Nazi era eugenics, where they were promoting the Aryan race, which is the white, blonde hair, blue eyes race as being the superior. Anything else, you are less than, you are inferior. And they were promoting breeding between this race to continue to make their race the most superior, right? To make sure that they stay the most powerful. This has happened throughout our history with forced sterilization even, okay? So the Nazi Germany used this, but let's not forget US and Israel also used this tactic. They used this play on eugenics and they forced sterilization on different types of groups. Israel particularly did this to Ethiopian Jewish women who came into Israel and they thought, okay, they're less than, they're inferior. I mean, they're a racist state. So they forced sterilization without these people's consent. And they did this into 2010. Okay, the US, they did this up until the 1970s and then it became outlawed, but they actually continued to do it in the prisons to inmates, again, without their consent. And this went on into the early 2000s. And the reason why I bring up Israel is because they actually put out, the second October 7th happened, they put out a billboard in New York Times Square with their logo and the Israeli flag, obviously showing their support for Israel. So that's why I have to mention that and say it's interesting that their Zionist company, and then they're also playing on something that the Zionists practice, and then again, Nazi Germany practiced. But back to the ad. So they're using Sydney Sweeney, this skinny, white, blue-eyed woman, and honestly, like, there's nothing wrong with using her, but it was honestly very intentional. Right? You have to understand that whenever like we see these things in the media and these ads, is overtly sexual ads being thrown at us, it's all very intentional. It's all meant to program us in some way. And also, I mean, even with the over sexuality that's been going rampant in our society, it's meant to desensitize us to those kind of things so that, you know, it becomes, you know, super normal for you to walk outside and just see like someone completely naked, you know, riding a bike. I mean, they have these like nude bike rides everywhere in the country, apparently. This is all to say that they knew what they were doing. I mean, American Eagle, when it comes to marketing, and especially a campaign this big, I'm sure they paid Sydney Sweeney like a couple $1 million. It's going through many stages of approval. They knew, I mean, I'm sure when they were having these meetings, they had the little pun. I'm sure someone even brought up like, hey, this actually might be a little offensive. But again, they knew what they were doing. They were all on the same page. I mean, we can see this even during the Abercrombie era when they allowed racist graphic tees to be put out onto the floors of their stores. And at that time, you know, there was like a big racist movement against the Asians. So it was totally fine. I mean, some people thought it was, you know, problematic, but if that's what they wanted, then that's what they pushed out, no matter if you said something or not. It's also interesting using Sydney Sweeney for this type of campaign, because this is just a very, very crazy political climate right now, especially with what's going on in Palestine and Israel. And I think part of it is they're still trying to, again, ingrain into us that whites are the superior race. And we're seeing this type of ad at this moment because Palestinians, as I said before, they're starting to become recognized as actual people, actual humans that, you know, they're on the way to becoming recognized as their own state at the UN. And they just want to continue to tell us that, hey, like, they're brown, and of course their oppressors are white. So we need to make sure you guys understand that, like, the whites are always right. And now people are obviously waking up to the fact that, like, no, if you're an oppressor, and we're always going to side with the oppressed. This is another thing I have to say about this ad is that if it was really about good genes, as in like the genetics, they should have had other body positivity women in this ad. I mean, people of different shapes and colors, sizes. I mean, they've done this type of body positivity campaigns before, but again, they chose not to do it this time intentionally. They did this on purpose, and they played on the eugenics on purpose. So back to the demographic of 15 to 25-year-old women. I mean, this is not what women want to see. The fact that it was so even like sexualized, I mean, the way that they panned like down into her breast, and then she kind of like says, hey, eyes up here. It's like women don't want to see that. Like, we don't care about that. You know who want to see that? Men want to see that. But you know who's not buying the jeans? Men are not buying the jeans. So you know what's going to happen? Jean sales are going to go down. They're not going to happen because the person that you're supposed to be directing this towards, they're not interested in this kind of stuff. And this girl was seen in the ad like folding down her jeans at least 5 times, again, to accentuate her perfect jeans with her itty bitty waist, and to make her, you know, I think in a way making these women that it's supposed to be directed towards feel insecure, because that's honestly like such a big issue with these young teens, is like we are just feeling really insecure with all the different body and beauty standards that they've created. So yeah, it makes sense why white people online, they're not mad, and they're telling us, oh, it's not that deep. Because of course it doesn't matter to you. I mean, you guys are not the ones affected. You guys are always going to be in the class of people whenever these ads come on that are privileged. This kind of stuff just does not affect you. So it makes sense why all the Republicans, all the conservatives, all the white people who are not very aware of these type of things, they said, okay, it's not that deep, guys. Like this is not reminiscent of Nazi Germany at all. Of course they're going to say that, because it's still painting them and their race into a good light. So that's just something to like keep in mind. And, you know, as I was going through, trying to understand, you know, what they were trying to do with this campaign, it actually reminded me of the 2022 Balenciaga campaign. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it was very controversial because they came out with their kids campaign. And in this campaign, they were basically sexualizing the children, dressing them in bondage gear, fishnets, and they were accused of promoting child pedophilia, because in the background, right, their bag was placed on top of a legal document. Okay, like it's just so weird. Like, why do you have a legal document in a high fashion campaign? But the legal document was titled United States versus Williams. Okay, and this particular U.S. Supreme Court case dealt with laws around child pornography, and so that was problematic. And another interesting note to make from that campaign is that they had a book called Fire from the Sun by the Belgian artist Michael Buromaes. And in this book, they actually featured paintings of naked, young-looking figures, you know, basically children. And they were like painted in this like ritualistic type stuff, very, very dark stuff. I mean, this kind of exposed like the head fashion designer of Balenciaga. And if you went to her Instagram page, like it was just demonic pictures, demonic paintings, like very satanic stuff on her page, like very, and it makes sense. I mean, if you follow Satan and you're trying to sexualize and basically promote harming children, I mean, it makes sense why this whole campaign was put together. Again, you know, Balenciaga is huge. I mean, it's like $1 billion fashion giant. These guys know what they're doing. It went through multiple stages of approval. That was all very intentional. I mean, obviously they faced a backlash. They took the ad down. They issued an apology, all that stuff. But after what? I mean, you have to look at the intention. Like, their intention to me is these people who are into the sadistic stuff, like they just want to kind of throw it in our face, and they want to see how far they can go without the people, like, you know, with it sliding over our heads. Like, how far can we go? Like, I just feel like these people are laughing at us because they're trying to program us, and they're like, they're thinking they can get away with it. But like, it's like, no, everyone will always be against harming children in that way. That's always going to be a big no-no in the society, and they just don't get it, but they just continue to like push their limits, right? Yeah, ever since then, I still have never like effed with Balenciaga. I'll never buy another thing from them again. So yeah. Okay, guys, I have 2 more stories I just want to go over with you. So the first is actually this Saint Laurent video. You guys, this is like, when I first saw this video, I just couldn't believe it. So Saint Laurent was actually performing in a city in Lebanon, and he actually tours. And if you guys don't know Saint Laurent, he's actually Algerian Palestinian singer, songwriter, artist. Okay, he's been in the game for a couple of years now. He has a mix of influences in his songs. He speaks French, he speaks Arabic, he speaks English, and he's very much like a pop star. All right, so pop, like this new pop male artist that's taking the Arab world by storm. So anyways, he's very proud of it, where he comes from. I mean, I went to his concert before, and he's really big on having all the flags of every single Middle Eastern country. So one of them is always Palestine, because he's Palestinian. His dad used to own a hotel in Gaza named Dira. That's what his album was named after. Since then, it's been bombed, but that's where he grew up before he grew up in a refugee camp in Jordan. So anyways, he's a very proud Palestinian, as most Palestinians are. So he was actually performing in a city in Lebanon. Okay, and if you guys remember, Lebanon had its own conflict with Israel, where Israel was bombing it. But anyways, at this concert, okay, you can see that they actually took someone in the crowd. They had a Palestinian flag. And I guess the organizers of the event went and they actually took the Palestinian flag from the person in the crowd. Okay, and this was just a big no-no. Like, let's go ahead and watch the video.
أخذت العلم الفلسطيني ليش؟ وينه؟ ممنوع العلم الفلسطيني كيف يعني؟ سوري بس إذا العلم الفلسطيني ممنوع أنا حأعتذر.
As you can see in the video, I mean, Saint Laurent was confused. He's like, what are you guys doing? Like, why are you taking the flag away? Like, this is crazy. And he would not continue the show until they gave it back to the person that they took the flag from. And I just find that like so, it's almost like cringe. It's like, okay, he's a Palestinian artist, okay, and Lebanese people, you guys understand the plight of the Palestinians because you went through your own conflict with them where they're bombing the hell out of you for a couple weeks straight. I mean, they're still bombing Lebanon because their plan is to take over Lebanon. But Lebanon, like, in the Palestinian struggle, it's one and the same. Like, we're the same person. And for them to take away the flag, it's just blasphemy to me. I mean, it's also like so disrespectful to the artist. I mean, you invited him to your event space and then you're not going to allow a flag that represents who he is from. I mean, he always brings up flags in his set. So I just find this like just so stupid of the organizers there in Lebanon. And if I were Saint Laurent, I would pledge to never come back there again because that was just so uncalled for, so disrespectful, and it's just showing your Zionist stripes, honestly. It's showing that you're a supporter of Israel if you're trying to suppress Palestinian expression. But yeah, I applaud Saint Laurent for doing the right thing and making sure that person got their flag back and then continuing the concert. So, do you guys remember when Coldplay at their concert panned to a couple and then that couple freaked out because it turned out they were having an affair?
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Yeah, well, so that guy, if you guys don't already know, turned out to be the CEO of this AI startup called Astronomer, and he was indeed having an affair with his chief people officer, another fancy word for a human resource manager. It was very problematic for both of them. I mean, come to find out after that viral moment that they were both married with kids. And yeah, their relationship is just very inappropriate. I mean, besides the fact that they're cheating on their spouses and humiliated their families, he actually ended up promoting his chief people officer a few months prior to the Coldplay concert. So we don't know how long the affair was going on for, but it's obviously a very inappropriate relationship. Okay, so what happened was he actually was suspended and eventually resigned from his company. And same thing with the chief people officer. She ended up being suspended while they investigated. And then she eventually resigned as well. And I just think it's so funny. I mean, the way that the astronomer company handled it is that they actually hired Gwyneth Paltrow, which is the ex of Chris Martin, the lead singer at Coldplay, to give basically like a video speech thing on, you know, respecting. And they made the right decision by not allowing those people to come back because it's just humiliating. It's humiliating. But the CEO, his name is Andy Byron. He is not letting this go. Okay, I think his life is in turmoil right now, and he's just not letting it go. He's not letting this die down. I mean, this happened almost 3 weeks ago, and I would say a lot of people stopped talking about it by now. But he just keeps bringing this case and the story back to life because he recently filed a lawsuit against Coldplay for defamation and privacy concerns. Okay, which is insane. I mean, this is like one of those dead lawsuits. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere because there was no defamation, number one, because I mean, Chris Martin, the lead singer, he actually jokingly said, oh, it looks like they're having an affair. And that's exactly what you're doing. So there's no defamation. It's all truth there. And in terms of privacy, well, when you're a concert goer, the creative artist actually has full reign to film, and you kind of give up your privacy, expectations when you go to such a public event. So there's no privacy there. I mean, this is just so... I mean, I don't know if he's working with a PR person right now, but they're definitely not giving him the best advice. I mean, the best advice for him right now is to just lay low and like let this die down and just focus on your family if you still have a family to come back to, because again, you humiliated them. But yeah, I just think it's funny that, you know, he's still trying to create this privacy claim and all that. Some people just don't know when to quit. All right, guys, that is all the information for today. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you at the next show.